Hi guys. Uh, Today we are going to talk about introduction to systems into configuration manager. Now we call this product as the current branch sometimes because after 2016 or from 2016 onwards we are releasing based on the Windows 10 the product how it gets released. To that it has been realigned with the same naming standard to release the product. Say Windows 10 also have current branch and long term. Similarly, here System Center Configuration Manager also have current branch. So now we are going to talk about the current branch with a deep dive. This might take maybe an hour or so. Okay. So how do you find the documentation? The documentation is very simple. Doc.microsoft.com and go to the type as CCM. So you land into here. Okay. By the way, this product System Center Configuration Manager is a part of EMS product. That means if your company is looking you to work more than one product, you might have to look into this link, which has Azure Active Directory, Intune, and Cloud App Security, Azure Information Protection, Multi-Factor Authentication, Threat Analysis, and MIM, or our Privileged Identity Management, we call it sometime. So these are the tools which you may have to work in the future. So if this product, fully gets automated, you may have to, look into the core-related product so that your job is so secure. In this current competition world. Okay, let's jump into the configuration manager and simply click here and go to the documentation introduction to system center. That's the current webcast. Okay, so in this current webcast, the introduction to the system center configuration. So what is system center configuration manager? Or this is a suite of products. System center has a suite of different products. So one of the product is system center configuration manager. So if you ask, what are the products about the system center, you may have to look into the simply type system center and then and it so it would go to this page. So you would end up within this page very clearly. You may have different explore systems into solutions. Then you would have different solutions. So if you locate here, this is the SCOM. Okay, we call it as the operations manager. If a server goes down, this gets automatically alert. So this product is part of system center family. Okay, similarly there is orchestrator. This is a separate tool, and service manager is a separate tool. What is orchestrator? Orchestrator tells you more about more about automation. Say example, you are doing a repeated work, you just create your run books that gets automatically executed. Okay, and service manager is purely based on your ITL based ticket management and your service levels to give it to your client and restore the services. Okay, the best practices are included. And let's talk about the virtual machine manager. This is another product within the system center. So if you look at these are all are the different products part of system center family or a suite of system center. And virtual machine manager provides you to create, service, and distribute the virtual machines, either from VMware or from the Hyper-V. So this is the front end kind of console, and this also uses to build for your private cloud also. Okay, but the more scope for this would be to learn more about configuration manager. So I'll just close all these things and just hit to the configuration manager. That's why in the introduction, if you look at this system center configuration manager is part of EMS suite. Okay, now we'll talk about that's what this line tells. Okay, so if you look at a product in System Center is suite of management solutions called System Center Configuration Manager. That means this is one of the product as we discussed, like you have SCOM and Virtual Machine Manager and different products you have. Out of that, this is one product we are going to learn today into deep dive, and I'm going to take more depth of more more webcasts you can expect, so that I'm going to cover in depth. Okay, so this actually product configuration manager, in short we call it as SCCM, the S C as system center, and C as configuration, M as manager. So system center configuration manager, we call it as SCCM. So this product is not sometimes people call as configuration manager or current branch, if you see here, and they write sometimes CB also, SCCM CB also. So either way, it's a CCM at the end for me. Okay, and this product is useful to manage your devices uh, from your on premises as well as in the cloud. So what is on premises? Like, you have your own data center within your company and your own teams are managing. Okay, so there is no other company is involved in managing or having the computers in your data center. So that's called on premises. Okay, and give me a second. No, no. If you look at the on-premises is, as I said, it's purely on within your premises. The computers can be managed. That means not over the internet. Okay, within your office, and also you can manage with the systems in your configuration manager or SCCM, even the cloud computers or cloud devices also. So this gives you more advantage when you integrate this product with the Intune. Okay, we will talk on that, later point. Now, you can use SCCM to help you to increase your productivity efficiency by reducing manual tasks. For example, you want to, distribute software or do the patch management. You don't need to do it manually. You can fully automate it. You do your, patch management. One time you do, and you set it, what are the collections to be, um, go and patch it. For example, Microsoft releases second Tuesday patches. For example, second you start deploying on third to 14th on test machines. If you're checking the results are okay, go for one more round of evolution and then hit it from 18th to 25th between, maybe for entire production in a phase manner, and you wanted this to be automated throughout the year. You don't want to revisit unless you're looking for some kind of improvements. So such kind of automation tasks can be done by using SCCM. Okay, so it's not just a patching. Okay, it can be, you want to deploy operating system for maybe hundreds of machines, or you want to migrate from Windows 7 to Windows 10 by taking the user backup. That's called, we call it as user state backup. Or you want to upgrade the not just the applications, also operating system. You want to deploy applications, that means softwares. In that situation you would be using system center configuration manager, we call it as SCCM, as a manual task, right? So that's the, for the manual task can be automated with the SCCM. Now, if you have a multiple hardwares and you don't know whether they are compatible for next version of operating system, and for your application, say example, maybe you require 8 GB of RAM, but you don't know, you're not sure of how many machines you have hardware with the 8 GB, or maybe a 16 GB. You want to classify, and you want to know, so that you can maximum utilize the um, hardwares. Similarly, the software investments. For example, you have already bought maybe Office license, or maybe SAP license, or testing softwares license, and you want to know how many users actually using, so that you can, you want to go for further level of investment, or you want to reuse them. If a user is not using, automatically dynamically reassign those licenses to maybe wherever you have requirement. Such things can be fully done with the help of configuration manager. That's called, we call it as SCCM, can help you to maximize your hardware and software investments. And with the current version of 2012 from onwards, it's more focused on user. That means you are more empowering your users productivity by providing what kind of softwares they need in a right time. For example, a user logs in a kiosk machine, or a user comes from maybe from his iPad, or maybe his Surface. Okay, so the software should be streamed instead of getting installed on that machine. It should come from your VDA server. In that situation, it would be empowering your users, and it gives you the more productivity for the end users, right? So that's some of the helpful things which a CCM can do you, okay, for you. And it also does further level of further level of configurations for you in an automated way. So let's look into that. Also, configuration manager will help you to enable the softwares to be delivered in a secure way altogether. Say example, you have your software, a CCM software that should be deployed to required servers only, or maybe to some desktops should have some kind of application gets to be delivered overnight or within maybe 30 minutes of time or something like that. You can securely deliver to the right targets of audience by empowering the users. You wanna allow them to go for self-service and get it installed automatically or with your approval, for example, or they wanted to deploy the software for a group of machines which are maybe coming in from Asia Pacific region. So you can create your simple collection, and the machines will be part of that collection. You create your software application and then do a deployment to that collection that gets automatically deployed. Okay. Similarly, you do have something called compliance management, which would allow you to configure a set of baselines, and those baselines can be measured on all the end target missions. Um, say example, if the McAfee antivirus so and so version should be there, and the dat version should be there, and the scan engine version should be this, or your organization says that everybody should have this wallpaper and this specific settings on a folder, or some register key should be there. Such things can be we treat as a compliance level, and we can make them as the compliance configuration management. And then those things will be pushed and would be remediated if required, automatically can be remediated even. Or maybe you deploy some software or some script to automatically deploy it. Okay. So in that way, complaints management also can be used, and that's more useful for the IT enabled services, right? You are the IT guy and you wanted to do all the missions to be compliance for your auditing, which is easy to do it from the complaints manager settings. And uh, and and also you can integrate this, whatever the data is currently storing in the configuration manager, that can be actually stored within the or it can be since you have huge data within your organization, whatever the data is there, for example, how many number of servers or the softwares or the users frequently used applications, all those things gets registered somewhere, and that can be uh, push to the your CMDB or configuration management database, and then you'll have in a comparative or complete report with the dependencies can be created, and you can use this database for enabling other services, right? And this is we called as here comparison asset management of servers and desktops, laptop, and mobile devices can be done. Okay, here securely you can scalable for the software deployment, and complaint settings can be managed. And let's look into the configuration manager extends, works alongside your existing configuration Microsoft technologies. For example, what happens is you have in fact, if you look at the SCCM, this is nothing to other than extending other products. Say patch management fully dependent on WSUS. Okay, the patching would fully happen with the uh, with the WSS. Okay. Similarly, you have the certificate services so that the machines can communicate over the internet. Say example, a user is coming over the internet, and he's not in within your office, but you are pushing as a SSM admin to everyone to install some kind of application, and he's not connected to your networks, but he's connected to internet. So still you can deploy the applications. It can or communicate over the internet. The reason is very simple. You can you will be having the certificate services, so this certificate services would helps you to do that. Okay. Okay, so basically, a system uses the current existing products, and it will extend your um, maximum utilization of the existing products or the Microsoft technologies. In this case, WSS for the patch management, Intune, a cloud-enabled mobile device management or the device management can be done by using the Microsoft Intune, and the certificate services to manage over the clients or the internet, and for securely communication to be enabled, and exchange online, GPOs and TNS ADK for Windows operating system to deploy. Okay, and user state migration tool, which is allows you to backup user profile data or users data on a computer. For example, Windows 7 user want to migrate to Windows 10, and all the data should automatically come as a backup. You would be using user state migration. We also call it as USMT sometimes. That's why they written here. And operating system deployment is a future, fully works with the help of WDS, Windows Deployment Services. Like PEXI server would be there. That's nothing but your WDS server, which gives you a response to the client to communicate over the network, or if the machine doesn't have an operating system, it can boot over the network. That that the flexibility comes from the WDS server. We would talk in detail most of these in future within the different webcast or within the different series. Okay, and also you take the advantage of ODB and remote assistance, definitely. Also, configuration manager uses for your AD, that's Active Directory and domain services functionality to locate your services. Like maybe if if, for example, if there is a client, and this client should communicate with what SCCM server, so that is completely decided by, or it can use the existing Active Directory and takes the advantage of that existing AD, and it says that hey, I have to what is my SCCM server. In this case, this client says that, hey, you query to Active Directory, and Active Directory gives you a site code, and go and communicate with this SCCM server and get that site code, and always communicate over the management point or the given approved port to this SCCM server. If you go and land it to, maybe for example, this user from Germany, and he's landed to South Asia, for example, Singapore, and this user can simply when he started his office laptop within the Singapore network, it will simply check within the Active Directory. It says, hey, I'm not in Singapore now, I'm sorry, I'm not in Germany now, I'm in Singapore. What is my SCCM server? So it says, hey, this is your SCCM server, go and talk with that. So this kind of benefit you would get within the SCCM, with the advantage of having the I mean, by utilizing the Active Directory services. Okay, so that's called that this explanation gives service location, configuration information, and how many of the machines. Say maybe you have Windows 7 machine, you have Windows 10 machine, maybe XP, all those different version of flavor of different operating systems, or maybe mobile devices. So all these would be available within your Active Directory. So what you do is you just query as a SCCM server to your Active Directory, and all the data can be invented, and it would be gets that information. So that's nothing but your discovery. So you're discovering all the objects within Active Directory. Okay, and that's where you can manage. Later point, you can create multiple collections, and then say example, all machines with Windows 7. Okay, or maybe all machines with I want if the machines have already Windows 10, and with the Office 365 installed machines, I can create a different collection so that I can view all the machines with Windows 10 and Office 365 configuration. Okay, so that's about the co-location of